The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to another edition of Alabama Politics. This week, I am Yaffe, filling in for Dale Jackson. Apparently, he is at the beach or somewhere, apparently. Actually, he's going to be joining us later on in the show, going to be our special guest today. We have a lot to talk about. Mecca Music is here as welcome.
I'm so glad you're here. I enjoy conversing with you. Of course, we miss Dale so much, Yaffe, but
you can
I'm
kind of sound a
excited.
little more serious than that when you say that, but okay, all right. So we have a lot to get to, so let's do it. We have the 2-minute warning. So gambling, the lottery, we know it didn't pass this last legislative session, but what does that mean for the future? A couple things we have to look at. One, does it have a chance of passing next year or the year after that? I still think I'm going to be talking about this 20 years from now. When I'm retiring from radio, I will still be talking about this. But the other question is it time to really start enforcing the law against the illegal gambling outfits that exist right now? I mean, Attorney General Steve Marshall said, yes, it is time to do this. We need to have local law enforcement going after them. I think he's right. So definitely have to talk about that. Mecca, what do you think?
It's not that he's not right, but how serious is he? Could this, and I say this very, very, very generously, be a little bit of lip service? I mean, just asking because, well, I mean, couldn't he start a task force, a gambling task force, and take it down from the state level? I mean, there's a lot of options if you truly wanted the illegal gambling to stop, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I am all for him doing this, but why haven't they done this before? That really is the main question. If we're going to do this, what's getting in the way?
Well, okay, and as far as the local communities, listen, these illegal, quasi-legal, however you want to phrase them, they bring in a ton of money for these communities. And I'm not just talking about like, shady deals or bribes or something like that. I mean, just genuine, some of them even pay city revenue taxes and things like that. Not all, I admit that. But they literally exist in every county in Alabama, these, illegal, quasi-legal gaming facilities. And I'm not sure how serious Marshall is at this point. I think he agrees and it's going to be done, or something should be done, but who's going to do it?
Yeah, and it's true that he came out and said that it was really local law enforcement that needed to really step up and do it. So he's pressuring them to do it, but what is their incentive to do it? And why haven't they done it so far? So another thing that didn't really make its way through the legislature is Medicaid expansion. There's a lot of pressure to expand Medicaid in this state and across the South because it seems like, Obamacare is here to stay, unfortunately, but it wasn't done, and will it be done in the future? I mean, there's talk about maybe doing something they're calling it a public-private partnership, but I mean, it's kind of like Medicaid under a different name. And I know the Alabama Policy Institute has come out recently and told KIV, do not expand Medicaid. It's not something we need. I wrote about it at yellowhammernews.com as well. Mecca, is this something that's going to happen in the future?
Well, I do consider you somewhat, the source. Like, you have studied this issue extensively. You know a lot about what's going on about it. So talk to me more about, because you remember Speaker Ledbetter talking about there could be a path forward with these public-private partnerships. Now, as you just mentioned, some people are saying, no, that's just another name for expansion. Why would that still be bad, even though it seems to have some support in the legislature?
Well, to me, I am much more in favor of free market solutions. And having a public-private partnership, it's still very much a giant subsidy, basically, for health insurance, which every time you just throw more subsidies at something, it kind of raises prices in the long run. We need to focus on things like more transparency, getting rid of certificate of needs, things like that can maybe add more competition. Now, I will admit, a lot of that has to be done on the federal level, too, if you're going to add competition. But on the state level, if we're going to talk about abolishing con laws, certificate of need laws, then maybe we can have a talk about a public-private partnership.
Do you think it's going to move forward in the next session or the session after that? I don't think calling it Medicaid expansion is ever going to go anywhere in Alabama, but you think this other path forward? Yeah,
I call it the
they're
thing,
going to have to come up with a snazzy name with it. Do you think that does have a chance maybe of going forward?
Oh yeah, I think so. It seems like even Republican lawmakers really want it. They really support it.
Well, there is but I mean, let's think about the legislature. Besides the grocery tax, it's not, the poor and the needy. Those aren't really, top priorities.
Yeah, but it's still this kind of, actually, when you look at it now, there are a lot of people that just are having problems affording health care. You don't have to be poor to have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
I totally understand that. So I think they want to do something. It's just about how they image it, how they frame it. And so
I agree.
We'll see what happens, but I think there's a very good possibility. Now, what's really interesting, looking at our senator, Tommy Tuberville, apparently he's had enough. He has had enough of the Biden administration. He has had enough of the federal government. And he says, what would be good for us? Why don't we just close up shop for about a few months, maybe 6 months, Trump will be president, then we can start doing things for the American people. And I have said for a long time, I actually like congressional gridlock because that's less time they're stealing my rights and taking my money, as they spend a lot of money. That's not going to happen, but Tuberville, kind of making waves with this conversation, Mecca. I mean, it's not going to happen, but he was concerned about Biden raising taxes.
No, he was, and let's be honest, it's a fun statement. Tuberville is great at fun statements. Does it actually mean anything? And what would it mean? I mean, does that mean like all federal workers don't get any pay? I mean, there's no mechanism in place for this to happen. But I think it's something that, like you mentioned, a lot of people would take that into consideration as maybe a feel-good statement for conservatives. I don't mean that terribly, but it's like, that's something that everybody wants to hear. Like, this is a good thing. Let's shut down the government. Let's get rid of things.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to happen, obviously. Where he really made a good point, though, is he was talking about Social Security. Because there are stats out that came out recently that showed that the trust fund is going to run out by 2035. Now, it's actually a year later than they said last year. Oh, we get another year. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. But it's true. It does seem like my generation is not going to get Social Security. It seems like we have been sold a bill of goods, and that's what Tuberville said.
And I mean, I don't think he's wrong at that. And again, I do have some good news for you, though, because for the next 6 months, DC will basically be shut down because everybody's going into election mode. And it's all going to be about campaign and elections for the next 6 months. So it's the next best thing, Tuberville.
Yeah, so I really appreciate Tuberville, the way he talks. I know some on the left and Democrats are like, no, he's stupid. But I mean, it appeals.
It's always fun to talk about.
Yeah, it gives us content.
Yes.
I do like that. So the other big topic this week is the fact that the UAW lost in Alabama. Kind of surprising since the UAW had a recent big victory in Chattanooga in Tennessee. So they made gains in the South. They had the momentum. They thought they were going to be able to unionize this plant, this Mercedes plant in Vanta, Alabama. And, they got 2,000 votes, but they lost by 2,600 votes, somewhere around there. So the question is, why? All this momentum, yet Alabama workers, for the majority of them anyway, decided not to go down this road. Was it Kay Ivey talking him into it, Ledbetter, or was it something else?
Exactly, and because you were the guest on the show when Dell and I had talked about this extensively, and he could not criticize the anti-union effort more. So I'm very curious on his take about what led to this now, but more so, was it just this one instance? Or is there going to be more going forward? I mean, is there going to be more, pushes and efforts? What was the difference between this and Chattanooga?
I really don't know what the difference between this and Chattanooga, other than maybe Mercedes, it was a better place to work than the Volkswagen plant. I mean, it could be something just as simple as that. I think politics did play a big role here. I'm going to talk about that more in my parting shot as I'm filling in for Dale. But I think politics did play a role. What do you think?
I think politics played a role, but also you just mentioned Mercedes. They take pride in being a great place to work. I mean, for everyone, from employees from top to bottom, they take pride. And it looks like they did make some steps. They replaced the head person
CEO,
there. Yeah, they replaced. And maybe that was enough. I mean, because if you can tell workers, listen, you can have all the benefits of someone with a union job and not have to pay union dues. I mean, that's an easy choice for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you're talking to employees and you're like, yeah, you already get better benefits, you already get better pay, and you don't have to pay those dues every month, and let's say you're a Republican and we know the UAW supports Democrats and maybe they don't want that money going to that.
That's a good point.
I think that it's easy to talk them into that. So we have much more to get to. You're curious about Dale Jackson's opinion. We're gonna talk with Dale
Yes.
Jackson, our special guest, usually the host of this show, next here on Alabama Politics This Week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com. You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Recover Now is a national campaign aimed at the education and awareness of the devastating effects of opioid and heroin abuse and curbing drug and alcohol addiction in the United States. Recover Now is sponsored by treatment facilities nationwide. Many of them have been where you are, and they want to help by spreading a message of hope and recovery. They're working hand in hand with major insurance companies nationwide that can help you or a loved one get clean in 7 to 30 days. Recover Now is embarking on a national outreach campaign on TV and radio to promote anti-addiction messages. So if you, a loved one, or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, do not wait. A new life for you could be 30 days away. Call us right now. I promise this call can change your life. Sponsored by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Call 855-723-6903.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently. But you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Yaffe. You can usually hear my show on WVNN right after Dale Jackson, 9 to 11 a.m. The Yaffe program, of course, Mecca Music is here as well. And joining us as our special guest, yes, of course, it was going to be Dale Jackson, usually the host of Alabama Politics This Week, also the host of The Dale Jackson Show and News and Views, which broadcasts across the entire Yellowhammer State. Dale, how are you, sir?
Couldn't be any better. Thrilled to be here. Thank you for filling in.
All right, good deal. So,
you sound lovely, Dale.
I know. I'm psyched to be here.
So, I did want to talk to you real quick about gambling. And we've talked a lot about already how the fact it didn't pass the legislature and all of that. But Attorney General Steve Marshall came out recently and he says local law enforcement needs to step up and really enforce these laws against these illegal gambling outfits. And of course, you've been saying this for a long time. You even wrote a piece of Yellowhammer years ago, had a picture of Steve Marshall behind a bulldozer bulldozing the illegal gambling outfits. So what do you think about what he said recently?
Well, I think he's setting it up to where he has to do it himself because I think he knows that these local law enforcement officers are not going to do it. I mean, this is just a simple fact of the matter. Sheriffs in these rural counties are elected, and they're elected using money that comes from these gambling entities. And so they are not very motivated in order to go in and go after those gamblers. They're just not interested in doing that. And, you know, they make the argument that we have constitutional amendments that say they are allowed, even though the Supreme Court of Alabama has said very clearly this is what electronic bingo is in the state of Alabama, and this is what it is not. And what they're doing right now is not electronic bingo. They are slot machines with extra steps. And he should shut them down personally if they will not do it. But I just don't see that happening because I think he would have done it already if he was going to. So there's a big problem here, and this gambling stuff doesn't get resolved until that is resolved.
So, Dale, that is what we talked about earlier. Is this just lip service? I mean, could Marshall put together a state task force and do a crackdown? Like, is that an option going forward, or is his statement just that, more statements?
Yeah, it leads towards just more statements, really. We saw a task force and a battle brew between Governor Bob Riley and Attorney General Troy King, who I believe he appointed at that point. Mm-hmm. And we saw a battle between those two individuals over just this. The governor putting together a task force and saying, we're going to go take these things down. And there was a big fight about it. Now, at the end of the day, Bob Riley won all those legal battles, but it was long after when he initially tried to take these illegal casinos out. And, you know, part of the problem is not just, you know, the big illegal, quasi-legal casinos. It's all the tiny ones in flower shops. Yes, that's a real thing. It's tailors in all sorts of different places, gas stations. Some gas stations right out front. Some are more brazen than others. But there are all these other illegal casino operators around the state. And if you take one like they did in Auburn and you take the people into custody and you hit them with a $600 fine when the machine itself had $10,000 in it, maybe that's not, you know, a motivation to stop doing it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They need stricter enforcement. But what about the local law enforcement aspect? I mean, that's what he said in a recent interview, that it's really up to local law enforcement to do anything. Will they do anything? Is there any incentive for them to do anything?
No, as I said, I think he knows that too. He knows that they're unwilling to do anything about this. I mean, they are unwilling because it creates a lot of revenue for the local government, and it also creates a lot of revenue for the business owners there who run those entities, and they fund campaigns and other projects around the cities and counties with that gambling money.
So the other big story I wanted to talk to you about, Dale, is the unions, because the UAW had a big loss here in Alabama. I think both you and I thought they were going to win. A lot of people did. They won recently in Chattanooga at a VW plant, but they lost Alabama at a Mercedes plant in Vance, Alabama. I mean, were you surprised?
No, I wouldn't say that I was surprised. Towards the end, it started trending in the direction of the no vote, and that's basically where it ended up. Now, this isn't over. You'll see other votes, and other attempts to make this get this done. But at this particular point in time, the win was kind of at the backs of the nose, and it didn't work out for the pro-union people, obviously. But this is not over yet.
Okay, but Dale, we talked about this extensively, and you could not be more critical of the anti-union efforts. But the question is, now that the vote has failed, did they get the job done?
Oh, listen, I got phone calls from people involved in that anti-union effort while I was saying those things. And they're like, you don't understand, we're doing so much behind the scenes. Their argument was, we're not running, ads on television saying, don't vote for this union. I mean, they were doing that. But when we're speaking directly to the people in the unions, we're doing it through their colleagues, through other people on the line who wanted to say no and wanted to explain why. And they were arming them with that information and sending them in there to those conversations. And that you would have like in the break room and elsewhere. And that is where those conversations, I guess, were more beneficial. So, yeah, I was very critical of them, and they took notice that I was being very critical of them, and they said, look, we're doing a bunch of stuff, including the firing of the guy who ran the plant.
Yeah, okay, so that was my other question, Dale. Do you give some credit to Mercedes with taking measures to make their employees more happy and more satisfied with their job?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. I mean, that was a big part of it. They went in and they said, hey, you guys don't like this guy? Well, we don't like him either. He's got to go. And, yeah, so they went ahead and got rid of him, and that helped them. I mean, that was another thing that did it. I did think the argument that the union was making after that, which was, see, we didn't even have to come in here. We can still make changes. Think what we can do over here. I thought that would be a compelling argument. Apparently it was not.
You've talked about future votes. What about the future of unions in Alabama? It's not just this vote. Remember Amazon, the Bessemer facility, they voted down a union recently. Has Alabama kept their, what would you call it, friendly to friendly,
business friendly,
yeah, business friendly
crowd?
Yeah, have they kept that reputation or that aura that they're trying to promote and get out there to land more additional businesses? Have they kept that intact?
Yeah, they have. I mean, but you got to remember, this is like the people coming over the border. They're not going to stop. You can stand there and push them back all you want. Eventually, too many are going to get through. And I think that's, what Alabama's trying to do is hold them off for as long as they possibly can. But I think they accept that at some point in time they are going to bust through the wall and they're going to have some problems. But as of right now, if, Kia, just an example, if the Koreans were like, hey, we want to start a plant, they would say, okay, well, Alabama's still on the table because they don't have unions in their auto manufacturing facilities. So we will continue to come and invest there. But Tennessee's got a problem now. Now when Alabama's over there in Europe talking to the Germans or the French or whoever, the French will be talking to them about planes or grapes or something. And when they're talking with those guys, they say to them, hey, you go to Tennessee, you're going to have to deal with unions. You come to Alabama, you don't have to. That's the play. Yeah. Call it an Alabama discount, call it whatever you want. I call it a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's exactly what's happened with all those manufacturers. They want to keep it coming.
Yeah, and it's helped the economy for years, in the past few years, definitely in Alabama. Dale Jackson, I mean, it says here he's a living legend and talk radio god. Was I supposed to say that as well?
We did not say that or write that. I would like everyone watching to know that.
He is the host of The Dale Jackson Show. Appreciate it, Dale.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Dale.
All right, got the parting shot coming up as well. This is Alabama Politics this week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia, and this is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Recover Now is a national campaign aimed at the education and awareness of the devastating effects of opioid and heroin abuse and curbing drug and alcohol addiction in the United States. Recover Now is sponsored by treatment facilities nationwide. Many of them have been where you are, and they want to help by spreading a message of hope and recovery. They're working hand in hand with major insurance companies nationwide that can help you or a loved one get clean in 7 to 30 days. Recover Now is embarking on a national outreach campaign on TV and radio to promote anti-addiction messages. So if you, a loved one, or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, do not wait. A new life for you could be 30 days away. Call us right now. I promise this call can change your life. Sponsored by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Call 855-723-6903.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
We're back here on Alabama Politics This Week. I am Yaffe, but I got to remind you to check out Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today. You can always catch it at yellowhammernews.com and sign up for the email newsletter. Plus, I write every day for yellowhammernews.com as well. You can check out my news stories and my editorials right there on the website. Check it out, yellowhammernews.com. Let's get to that parting shot. So a lot of talk in the show already about the union vote. I have to admit, I was a little surprised. I thought the momentum was in the UAW's favor. Now on my show and at yellowhammernews.com, I would talk about, I don't think it was good for the economy of Alabama. And I think economics did play somewhat of a role here. But I also think politics really did play a role as well. Because you had the UAW president, in recent weeks, he came out in support of those campus protesters, those anti-Israel campus protesters. He came out calling for a permanent ceasefire in Israel. It's a very leftist position. He would also wear T-shirts that say, "Eat the rich." He would say that billionaires shouldn't exist. It seemed that beyond just, we want better pay, better benefits for our employees at this Mercedes plant, it seemed like the UAW once again was pushing a leftist agenda and wanting to use union due money and employees to push a leftist agenda. When they were talking about having a 32-hour work week, that's radically transforming the economy. Get paid, but you work 8 hours less. And they're pushing a lot of stuff like that where I'm stepping back, and I'm sure a lot of people in Alabama that work at that plant who are conservatives or Republicans, they don't want to support leftist organizations. They don't want to support the Democrat Party. But they see all these statements from the UAW and they're like, why am I going to support them? I voted for Trump and you guys are endorsing Joe Biden for president. Maybe I'm going to back off from this. So I really do believe politics played a big role here. And I think Dale Jackson is right earlier in what he said, talking about the fact that Tennessee's got a problem now. They're going to have to compete with Alabama, but it's good for Alabama. We want more manufacturing jobs coming here to the state of Alabama. It'll be good for the state, good for the economy, good for everyone's paycheck. So that's kind of my take today on Alabama politics this week. For my parting shot, appreciate you joining the show. Dale Jackson will be back next week.